Oh, but I live in UK. I can't own any of those guns, right? Right? Well, no. Guys, welcome to the channel, The Modern Survivalist. As I always say, if you want to learn about survival preparedness for real, I recommend the channel. I recommend you get my books, Survival Skills, as well as Surviving the Economic Collapse. Survival Skills is my latest book. It's just full of practical information, a lot of that regarding self-defense, the use of these tools, and a bunch of others that are going to be available no matter where you are. Yes, some things are a little bit more difficult to get than others, but there's always options. That's what you need to accept first of all. The other thing you need to accept is that no matter where you are, there's probably some tool that you have as an option. There's probably some kind of option that you have no matter where you are. Unless it's the most tyrannical government, living in North Korea kind of thing. But no matter where you are and somewhat civilized, you have the option. And the case is that if you are even living in UK, which is one of the more tyrannical governments in the Western world, yes, it is. It's fucking terrible. You know how bad it is. Even there, you have options, and that's the topic of the video. As I was explaining in one of the previous videos regarding that shotgun specifically, that's a Mossberg 500, perfectly legal in UK. I got a message from a guy in UK, a Brit, that told me, "Hey, Fernando, I watch your channel, awesome. Look, I have a Mossberg 500 as well." Well, congratulations. Of course, you should. It is legal. You can do it. For now, things are getting pretty crazy, just insane how things, it's all of the world going this way. All of the Western world is getting more and more restrictive, more tyrannical, less freedom, more oppression, less money for the hardworking people, more rights for people that shouldn't have none because they are just criminals, and that's the way it is going everywhere. Having said that, there's places that are worse off than others. Just the nature of the beast. But you have to be prepared no matter where you are. Now, if you are in a place like UK, you may have thought, well, I cannot have, yes, you can. A shotgun license is within your options. A shotgun license will be, these are all shotguns, guys. All of these are shotguns. There's really no difference. Yes, there is a difference in terms of barrel length. That's a 14-inch barrel. That's a pretty short barrel. Cool gun, but short barrel, which is kind of restricted in a number of places, including in the United States. It's not as easy as if you just go and buy your 18.5-inch barrel, Mossberg 500 over there. That's perfectly okay. You can buy it very, very easily across US. Shorter barrel, that's going to be a little bit more complicated. Still possible, more paperwork and a bit more money involved. Now, going back to the options that you have in UK, in that video I said, a Mossberg 500 with a 24-inch barrel. I believe it's still very much. Let me know, you guys in UK. Let me know in the comments. It's still that length, right? Still 24 inches. Well, 24-inch shotgun. You have the advantage of having even a longer tube, so it's more ammunition, so it's not all bad. And that's a fantastic gun. That's a great home defense gun. You don't even have to worry about that thing. Once you know how to run it properly, get the training, get the skills as to use it correctly, you have probably some kind of practical shooting sports. I know I took a class in UK on using a semi-automatic shotgun. Actually, that's why I ended up getting this one. Because in that class that I didn't have any guns with me at that time, I was loaned Hudson Escorts, long-ass shotgun, but semi-automatic, and I really liked that shotgun. It was one of the shotguns that they had in that club, and as a loaner, I really liked it. It was like, damn, that's a very nice shotgun. That's a very decent gun. Semi-automatic, very reliable, so that's why I ended up buying the short one here. Now, it is the case that if you're limited to just having shotguns, and yes, you could have like 22 long rifle carbines and so on, in those kind of restrictions, with the kind of restrictions that you have in UK, I would go with that. I would go with a semi-automatic, very high quality shotgun like that Benelli. That's an M1. That's a classic. It's a classic in terms of tactical shotguns too. You now have the Benelli M4 and that's what all of the cool guys will have, but that's not very cool, but it is super reliable. It's also extremely lightweight, very lightweight. So you have a lightweight 7-in-the-tube shotgun, semi-automatic, made by maybe the best shotgun manufacturer there is, at least in the more tactical sense of it. Benelli is quality. Benelli makes good stuff, right? It's maybe not very fancy, but it's very reliable, very well made. And that's what I would get. I would get the minimal length of barrel required with a maximum amount of magazine capacity. I believe it's 7 in the tube, and yeah, I think it's the same in both of those. So that's what you have. And you are extremely well equipped with a gun like that. With a Benelli M1 semi-automatic shotgun, yeah, you will be just fine. No one is coming through that door if you don't want them. It puts a lot of lead downrange very quickly with a pull of a trigger, which is a lot better than having to work the pump. The pump is not the end of the world. It is actually very reliable. Actually, both guns are, but there's always that sense of, yeah, I can just put any kind of shell, no matter how light it is, and in the pump action, I just smash that thing in there and it works. You have to be a tiny little bit more careful with a semi-automatic. Usually it's going to be that they like heavier weights in the ammo they're shooting, right? So something like 32, 34 grains of weight, right? Something like that. That's usually going to be extremely reliable. And yeah, and that's usually what you will have in buckshot anyway. So that's not a point of contingency to be worrying much about, because buckshot is what you will have in there anyway. Oh, but buckshot is not okay. Just go with something else. Go with slugs. Go with whatever largest bird shot there is. That's going to be just fine at those very close ranges. No, it's not going to be as good as buckshot, but still, 12 gauge, heavy loads, maybe some of those turkey loads or rabbit loads or whatever the hell they call them, depending on where you are. Whatever is the thickest shot you have, go with that if buckshot is not an option. I believe it is. I think you can have like buckshot for hunting, and slugs can be sold for hunting as well. Again, look at whatever is available, but with that kind of gun, you can be extremely well prepared for serious civil unrest, for people losing their minds, losing their shit, getting very violent. You need to have these things ahead of time, no matter where you are. But this idea that, oh no, just because I'm here or there, or just because I live in London, I live here, I live in this other place, and here is super restrictive. Well, just because something is very restrictive does not mean that there's not some kind of option available for you. Oh, but I don't have it. I cannot have it for self-defense. That's not even allowed. I only can. Okay, get it for sports shooting. Who cares? Oh, do you think that simply because you're allowed to own any kind of firearm for self-defense that you're just allowed to just commit any kind of atrocity out there? Of course not. It still applies. No matter where you are, even if you're allowed to buy X kind of gun, you still have to follow the law. And it's going to be the case that no matter where you are, if it's a very clear case of self-defense, someone is attacking you, and you have any right to defend yourself, which in most places you do have, well, that's going to be what matters the most. You having a clean sheet, this scumbag with a giant-ass criminal record, that's what's going to be looked at. And it will go one way or the other. You just never know. Luck is always a factor here. But I know one thing. I know that if the options are dying or seeing my family hurt or doing what I have to do, I will just do what I have to do and just deal with whatever consequences follow. But you need to sort out your shit. You need to sort out your priorities. And part of that is sorting out you taking care of business in terms of being prepared for when things get out of hand. Because, guys, I don't know where you are. I don't know what you're looking at. I don't know if you're paying attention or not. But we are very much in difficult times everywhere. Look at what's happening in Spain. You see some of the best of people, but you're also seeing some of the worst of people. People that are stealing from one another, people that are looting, people that are taking advantage of the anarchy. And then you have extremely kind gestures from neighbors with one another. That's all fine. But what we do here is not throw around butterflies and roses. No, we talk about when things get complicated. When we talk about when things start going kind of dangerous, right? And also remember, it's also about how well you take care of your body. That is always going to be far more of an important tool than any of these things. Your body is your main tool to keep yourself alive, to keep yourself happy, well, working, moving, getting from one place to the other, evacuating, carrying a hurt a family member, a loved one, all of those things. Work on that as well. Don't forget that. Folks, that's going to be all for now. See you on our next video. Take care.